everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianne and this is Bree's Knits. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be discussing some projects that I'm going to be frogging and kind of just talking about why. Most of these projects, it's not that I don't like them. Well, one of them is. It just kind of had to do with when I made them, the level of skill I had or didn't have. So yeah, also the light is like on and off today. I'm using natural lighting, so sometimes the sun comes out in full blast and sometimes it's hiding, so it's going to be a little everywhere. So I'm sorry about that. It's actually almost 2, so I should probably get a move on. So the first project I'm going to be frogging kind of has to do with the project itself, as well as, oh, I just realized I didn't even talk about what I'm wearing. I am wearing my paysan blouse by Fabo Knitwear. Technically can be worn as such for a little feminine energy, but I'm going to be moving my arms around a lot, so I'm just kind of keeping it like this, like a little peasant blouse. The yarn is Surrey alpaca from Sorel Yarn in Provence. It's very nice. I think I wanted to have this last spring and I finished it in time. It's pretty quick knit, seeing as it's mostly stock knit, and yeah, it goes by fairly quickly. The number of stitches to cast on though in order to get this with the elastic is heinous. But this is actually the second one I've made. I've made another one in a variegated colorway from Explore Knitting Fibers called Roma. If you're on Instagram and you want to see it, it's on my Instagram. Kind of just scroll back a little bit, but it's there, I promise. But anyway, so the first project I want to frog, I have like 5 projects I want to frog. Most of them are almost the same color family. But first one I'm going to be frogging is this. It's called the Tongue Tie Top by forgot her name already. I'll probably write it down in the description, but she does all of the like bulky, super bulky designs. Yeah, I don't remember what her name is now. She's made the Williamsburg sweater, which I made too. I actually thought about frogging that one also. She also made the Pasadena cardigan. Oh, I forgot her name. Ugh, okay, I'll just write it here. But I remember the pattern name is called the Tongue Tie Top. I made it with Rama alpaca lin. So it's alpaca mixed with linen as the core, kind of like with mohair, it's silk and then mohair all around. Same thing for this yarn, same concept. Forgot what the color was called, sage, something like that, or emerald something. I think I've just noticed, like, I don't really reach for this that often. I'm not like, oh, where is that sweater? Once I'm like, I don't know, I'm definitely a person that like switches out my closet for the seasons. I've always done that. Put away things I'm not gonna be able to wear, so that way I can have room for all of my seasonal wear. And I've just never reached for this. Like, I've probably worn it a couple times, and each time, like, I kind of hate the sleeves. They're big, they fall down, and then even with the tie, like, it's just not really, I don't know. I hate when sleeves like fall too far down the wrist. Like, I prefer having like a pretty solid ribbed cuff, or like keeping it here. I hate when it like falls over. So even if it's like a really like baggy or oversized sweater, I'd prefer it to be like a little bit lower from the wrist, because I just hate when it comes off the wrist too much. So that's kind of what this does, and it's not really for me. I also don't know, like, I went to this store in Pasadena called Wool House. I think that's how you would pronounce it, because the house is, or Haus, it's Haus. But I got a little carried away because I saw drama and I really wanted to try something that Knitting Traditions has tried. I like knitting with the yarn. The only thing is that I bought a sweater quantity of this color as well as some in a pink color. I have not touched the pink color. I've had it for maybe like a year and a half. And I'm thinking about with the pink one, what I might do. I might make a Sophie Shaw. It just seems easy. The weight is a worsted weight, I believe. But I mean, I might do the same thing for this one. When I unravel it, it's cute. It's a raglan, has the tie. I wish I loved it more, but it's just not for me, I'm realizing. So gonna unravel it. But yeah, I don't know what to do with the yarn. If you guys have any ideas, I put my stash on my Ravelry now, so if you're on Ravelry and want to follow me there, I guess, or add me as a friend, I'm on there. But I put in my stash, so I put in the Ramagon, the alpaca lin, the pink one I have it on my stash. I have how many yardage I have in there, but I don't know what to do with it other than a shawl. There's not really many patterns that are worsted weight that I would purchase, I guess, or wear. I thought maybe about a hat, but I kind of just thought a shawl too, because here, like, even though it is cold now, like it's cold for Californians anyway, in the summertime, I was thinking for like beachy days, because it has the linen in there with the alpaca. There's a lot of people going for bonfires and all that stuff. So I'm thinking maybe this would be a nice summer shawl. So I could either do a Sophie shawl or the Italian summer shawl, winter shawl, maybe summer shawl. If you don't know what shawl that is my girl Francesca. She has a pattern. It's free. It's a shawl. It's shaped similar to the Sophie shawl. It's garter stitch, but it has eyelets every so often. So I might do that with this green one and the pink one too, just to, I don't know, might gift it to somebody. I do think it would be a nice beach shawl, especially because even though in the summer it is warm, it's actually very hot over here. Once the sun goes down and you have the really nice breeze from the water, like, to me anyway, it's a little cold, so it's nice to kind of have like a little something to wrap up in. And sometimes, I mean, people bring blankets, so why not have a really big shawl you can just put over? Like, some people don't really get that cold really fast. Like, my husband's side of the family runs pretty warm, so if they wanted to have just something light over, I feel like that could work for sure. So there's that project. I guess going in the family of greens, I'll go with this next one. This one also has to do with yarn choice, but also, no, mostly yarn choice. And I'm so sad because it took me forever, because this, even though it's not necessarily color work, the pattern itself suggests that you use intarsia for the differing yarns and just the construction of it. And it is the Allery Blouse by Fable Knitwear. So you can see the serious demarcation in the line. So let's talk about it. The bottom portion of this blouse is made with Sorella yarn. It's one of their sock bases, but it's the colorway Lodge. There it is. Oh, there we are. I think it was part of their fall collection. This is Manos del Uruguay. It is their lace base. I forgot what it's called. Marina, I think, in the colorway Arboretum. And then it's a merino lace weight. And then the sleeves are also Sorella yarn. It's the Surrey alpaca in Lodge as well. So I bought a few skeins of the Lodge colorway for sock yarn, so that way my husband and I can have matching colored sweaters for Christmas one year. I think it was 2 years ago now. And I was I made him the Hansholm sweater, which he wears a lot now to this day. I feel awful because at that point I didn't really care about gauge, but I also didn't come to the realization that I knit pretty tightly. Or I don't know if I knit tightly and just that some of the designers I really like just knit looser, but I wasn't a person that did a gauge swatch until maybe last year. So his was pretty tight, and then I aggressively blocked it recently, and now he says there's more room. I might have to frog his too, but we'll see, because it did take me a long time because he's a tall man. He's a 6'2" guy, so there's just always so much more fabric for men anyway. But I mean, he seems to be okay with it. He still wears it all the time. He loves it. People compliment him on it all the time. But yeah, we want it to be matching. I was in a bit of a rush because of Christmas. I bought one skein of the Surrey alpaca, but the thing is that with Surrey, so like this one, my paysan that I'm wearing, it's the normal paysan blouse. I don't have the paysan mohair edition with ruffles, because the Surrey alpaca it's Surrey alpaca lace for some companies, but in reality it's a fingering weight, and Sorella has it marked as that. So I know that what I did wrong here is I probably should have used a bigger needle too for the gauge on the sleeves. The gauge in the body is fine. It's fine. But because I only bought 1 yard, one skein, I didn't have enough for the full top portion that's supposed to be like the lace and fluff and everything. So I knew I wasn't gonna have enough time to order, and I think by that time too, because it's part of the fall colorway, I wasn't gonna have any time. I wasn't able to get it anymore because it was already winter. So I went to my local yarn shop and I was like, you know what, I'll try to find something to match. And those ladies did me dirty. They could have just said, sorry, I don't think we have anything to go with that. But I showed them the colors I was using, and they gave me this Manos del Uruguay skein. They're like, oh, it kind of goes with it, blah, 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 right? So I wore it like that to Christmas. I finished it with like a day to spare maybe. And I haven't really worn it much since. And I asked my husband, I was like, what do you think? Like, should I frog it? Should I not frog it? And he was like, I think you kind of convinced yourself that you do like it. And he's like, but I don't think you do. It's really cute. It's supposed to have like a little button here, but again, because of time, I didn't put that there. But it creates a keyhole neckline, and it's super cute. It's just the yarn choice. So recently, I think it was last year, I bought another skein of the Surrey alpaca in Lodge. So I want to unravel it and just try it again. The designers suggest using intarsia technique to combine the two by the arm, but I don't know if you can. Yeah, I didn't really do it so well, but I was like, you know what, it's by my underarm, nobody's gonna notice, but I notice it. So I definitely have to unravel this and try to do it again. When will I get to it again? I'm not sure. I do really like it. I like the design. I have another skein of yarn that's it's Sorella's yarn as well. It's Gold Rush. It's from one of her Taylor Swift collections. It's a Gold Rush Stellina. I think it's the Golden Specks too. And I want to make another one of these for that. I just need to find a matching mohair because for some reason I think I got dark mustard from Knitting for Olive, and that does not go at all whatsoever with Gold Rush. So I'll have to wait and see what kind of mohair I want to get with it. But yeah, I want to make another version of that too, as well as that green. But anyway, so on to the next pattern. The pattern is by the same designer actually, but this is my very first sweater that I ever made, and because of that there were a lot of mistakes one of them definitely being gauge. So it is the Diagon Alley sweater or Diagon Alley jumper by Fable Knitwear. It's a beautiful sweater, just doesn't fit me anymore. It's very tight. Granted, the designer does do a lot of negative ease to zero ease patterns. However, I am usually a medium after my baby. I'm more of a medium large right now. So this fits more like a small, maybe. I think when I counted my gauge last night just to double check, the gauge swatch is supposed to be 18 stitches per 10 centimeters. I have like 21 or 22 stitches. And I've come to realize now, after knitting a few Fable Knitwear's patterns, is that typically I need to swatch at least half a size up, and usually I'll get gauge like that. I do knit English style, and I do tug the yarn a little bit tighter just to make sure we got a nice tension there. So it is definitely small. It'll like, if it's really tight here, and then my arms too, I think I'm kind of noticing that all of us are kind of, well, a lot of us are insecure about our arms. I'm definitely one of them. So when I feel like it's really tight around my arms, I don't really like that. So the fit is just not ideal for me. I do love the little puff sleeves, the puff shoulders. I love it. It's super cute. I love the design itself. I actually want to make another one. In what color? I don't know. But also because it's my first ever sweater. The technique at the bottom was rib stitches. I twisted rib stitches. I definitely made a lot of mistakes, and I don't know why. I just felt like I just kept getting lost, I guess, in my rib stitches, which is ridiculous because it's obviously like already an established pattern, but that's just what happened. So yeah, that's basically all. I forgot what yarn this was. It was an English yarn, I believe. I got it off of Love Crafts, and I just put DK weight and was searching around, and I liked the color. And yeah, I mean, I do like the sweater. I did wear it a few times, but I think just because of the fit, I haven't really worn it recently. So, but I would like to make it again with the proper gauge. I don't know if I'd have enough to do that, but maybe I'll just use this for a Stella quilt cushion because it is a true DK, and I think this color would be very beautiful and cozy looking for a Stella quilt. So I think that'd be nice, or like use it for a Stella quilt cushion and then maybe partially for a sweet shop blanket. So we're out of the greens. If you notice the pattern, I know even I was thinking about like what colors fit me really well, and I was like, I don't know, I feel like this green, I feel like I've come to realize like I'm very warm tone, and I feel like the green doesn't really do me too many favors, you know? I think it's this particular green anyway. I don't know if it's really my color, but it is what it is. I have the yarn. So, I mean, it's not bad though. I do like it. The next project is also a first project for me. And I usually have worn it. I started knitting early March 2020. Yeah, because the shutdowns happened shortly after. Yeah, so March 2020, I was in grad school. I remember I had seen Shop Le Mercerie on Instagram, and I actually messaged them about like knitting versus sewing because I was attempting to sew at the time, and then it was just a lovely conversation that really convinced me to just get in and start knitting. So March 2020 I was knitting. So the first thing I knit ever was a scarf. The last sweater was my first ever sweater. But I don't even, I know the yarn was patons, and I think it's a DK weight, but it's just in Garter Scarf. Yes. Stitches fell. I went to Universal Studios Hollywood recently and I saw that. I don't even know how that happened, but it happened. Here we are, it's still going. But yeah, it's an all over garter scarf. That's all there is to it. I know also because it was my first time, I somehow picked up stitches and dropped stitches, and there's just like random rows that are longer than others. So I could definitely wrap it around quite a bit. I knit these on straight bamboo needles. Actually, I can do it one more time. It's a little too, I'm a little too warm for that anyway, but it was 100% wool. I think I got it at Michael's, but yeah, it's definitely falling apart. I'm probably just gonna undo it and then just use it for something else. I thought, because I've been thinking recently about making myself a Sophie Shaw. I've made one previously for my mom, but I think I would really like one, and just, I do like blanket scarves too, so I might just make the largest one. Maybe it was knitting for Olive, heavy merino, and just call it a day, or maybe another yarn. But I could probably use this for some Stella quilts as well to go with, whoops, with this green together, and then save some for a sweet shop blanket. I think that could work. The last project is not one that I terribly don't like. It's just more like, I haven't really worn it. I haven't really found a lot of use for it. I think I'm noticing a lot of the like bulkier stuff I'm not super into. Like, I have a cardigan, it's the Nanaimo cardigan. I do like it. I do like, it's easy to just put on over anything, but I don't really reach for it that often. And recently I was looking through my closet for my winter stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, that's there. So it's not really super missed. But this other pattern is a vest pattern, and I believe it's called the Hooga vest. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it's by Beatrice, or is it Beatrice or Brenda? I'll definitely put the designer name right here too. Forgetting everybody's name today. It's actually a very beautiful vest. The only thing is when I looked at this again last night, like the increases by the arm, I definitely messed up right there. There was something else, and when I looked at it, I was like, what did I do? I think it was mostly that bugged me. And then also, obviously, there is a different gauge between the two. So the bottom is Wool in the Gang Crazy Sexy Wool. It's like one of their pink colors. I forgot what it's called. Cameo Rose or something like that. And then the top is Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick and Fossil, I believe. I think I used the two because I didn't think I'd have enough yarn of the Wool in the Gang for this top portion, which I think I'm still correct. The only thing, I do love like the color combination. The only thing is, well, not the only thing, it's obviously separate gauges. The Wool in the Gang yarn is unspun, as many of you know. So it's more of a jumbo, I would say, than maybe super bulky. Because the Lion Brand Woolies is super bulky, but as you can see, look at that. I would probably need to hold two of them together to, no, not probably, I know, because I've done my own little experiment. So for Wool in the Gang, for Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick, if you want to get a similar gauge to the Wool in the Gang, at least for my attention, holding them double is about the same. So in case anybody wants to try that, but I would definitely have to hold that double, and I just didn't think I wanted to use, like, buy another one and have all this extra, because I'm really not going to use that color for anything else. I've worn it a couple times, but that's about it. I'm not really like I do like vests, but I just don't think I've ever had occasion to wear this one this often or as often. I don't know. Like it's cute and all, but it's bulky also. I didn't weave in the ends that much. It's cute. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it, but I definitely want to fix this. And then the neckline, the pickup, like look at that. It's a little messy. So I definitely want to fix that. I might give it to somebody. I just need to see who would want it. I know I have one of my sister-in-laws likes to hike a lot, but I'd have to ask first to see if maybe they'd want it. Because it is a beautiful color combination. I really like it. I just don't know if I like it on me. I also don't know if I like this pink on me. But I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful pattern. It's just the gauge of that top portion and some of the increases are a little not done so neatly, I guess. So I just want to go ahead and frog that. When will I have time to frog these? I mean, I could frog them whenever. I just hate frogging. I frogged an Allery blouse by Fable Knitwear. I think about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. Sometime before I was pregnant, so maybe a year and a half ago. But that was because, again, I did not check my gauge. I think after that experience, I started checking my gauge way more often and doing gauge swatches. But at that point, I had made a medium, but because my tension was super tight, I ended up making either like a small and extra small. It was not good. I couldn't even like stand up straight without feeling like I was gonna rip it. I felt like the Hulk growing in that tiny shirt, and I was just like, this isn't. Even my husband was like, that's really tight. Is it supposed to be like that? I was like, I don't think so. And I checked my gauge and I was like, no, I was super off. And I really liked the yarn, and I do want to make that top again in my size. I think it's just after you kind of get burned like that, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna take a break from this pattern for a second here. So but yeah, that's all the patterns I want to frog. 2 of them are very early knits. I would say that vest is an early knit. The tongue tie top, which was the first one I showed, I made last July, I believe. Yeah, I think it was last July, or let me see. No, wait a second. Last year was 2023. So no, not last July. July 2022 is when I made it. And then the Allery blouse, I made it November. No, I finished it December 2021. So I was fairly new-ish, but I think I've kind of learned a little bit more that I might be able to fix the mistakes I made. And yeah, I just know better now to just swatch. I am playing fast and loose with my husband's sweater right now. But I think it's most of petite knits patterns, I tend to have similar gauge, so it's usually pretty okay. But that is it for now. I'm going to go film a podcast. But you'll probably see this one after the podcast. So I will see you guys next time. Happy knitting and have a good day. Bye.